Okay, so here's the solution to your test questions. For the soccer matches, it says if the home result is greater than the away, display home. So we're going to start with that. We're going to go equal if, open bracket, if the score for home is greater than the score for away, then we are going to display the word home. So now we close off the value of true. We're at value if false, and because this is a nested if, we're going to start if again. So if, open bracket, this time we want to know if home is equal to away. If that is true, then we're going to say draw. And if it is false, that it's not home or draw, then it's going to be away, because that is the last option which we do not need a logical test for. And we're going to count our ifs. I got 1, 2 ifs, so I go 1, 2 parentheses to close off. And I can now use my fill handle to fill it out. So in this case, home 1, 3 to 2, and then home 1 again, 2 to 1, and then it was a draw. Okay, for the next question, in this question, we're going to use cell C2 using a nested if to decide if the student will receive a fail, pass, or distinction. So there is a table right here that has our true values already typed up for us, fail, pass, distinction. So we're going to use those cell addresses rather than typing those information in. And let's look at the logical test now. This one is 49 or below, which means it includes 49. So we know that we need to have an equal in there. And because it says below, we know that we're going to be using less than. We are testing the student's mark. So we go equal if, open bracket, the student's mark is less than or equal to 49. If that is true, then we are going to display a fail. And we want to use absolute to freeze that that true value. And then if that is false, we got to test it with another if for the second option. So we go if, open bracket, the same score is, this time we want to know if it is at least 74 or below, right? So now again, because it includes 74, we're going to use an equal sign. The below tells us it's a less than. So we go less than equal to 74. And remember, because it is already tested for this logical test, this is not going to overlap it. So it's okay that it says less than 74, which will also include 49, because it is already tested this cell for 49 and concluded that this was not true. That's how it got to the second logical test. So now the true value for this is going to be pass, and again we freeze it with the absolute cell reference, and then we get to the last option that we do not need to test for. So we're just going to display what we want it to display if the value is true. And now we count our ifs, 1, 2 ifs, and we go 1, 2 parentheses, enter, and we use autofill to fill the column. Now you have some more instructions here. You are to insert row 1, a row above row 1. So you're going to click on row 1, you right click and say insert, and you're going to add the title exam results. Then you're going to make that text exam results red. Let's click off and click back. Make it red. We want to make it bold, and we want to make it 28 points. And then we're going to center it across columns A, B, and C. So I'm on A1 right now. I'm just going to click and drag over, just click and drag over A, B, and C, and then I'm going to hit the merge and center button. And then cells A10, this should be to B13. A10 to B13, we're going to surround that with borders. So here's, go down. Because we added this row, it pushed down my table one row, okay? So we're just going to put the all borders around the table. So this is done. Moving on to question 3. This one, we're going to go to cell C2, and we're using the nested if to find the amount of commission each staff member earned. Okay, so we're going to actually calculate the commission. So we want to know if, so equal if, open bracket, the sales here. Our first logical test is looking for between 1 and 10. So we want to know if this is less than or equal to 10. And if this is, then we're going to use the 10% commission. So we're going to multiply their sales amount by 10%. And again, we use the absolute cell reference to freeze that. And if that is false, then we start a new if. If, open bracket, we test the same sales amount. Now we want to know if it is less than or equal to 100. Less than equal to 100. And if that is true, then we're going to take the sales amount and multiply it by 15%, freezing that cell. And if this is false, we have 3 values. So we already have 2 ifs, 2 logical tests. We're just putting what the true value is going to be now. And this is now going to be sales times 20. And we freeze the 20%. We count our ifs, 1, 2, and we close 1, 2, and we enter and then use the fill handle to drag this down or double click. We can also, if we want to, make this currency because we know that we're dealing with cash. The next option says that we, in C6, we're going to total the amount of the commission earned. So we're just going to use an auto sum. So auto sum, it selects the entire commission column and we hit enter. So it was $44.15. And now we're asked to insert a row above row 1 again. So select row 1, right click, insert. Now we're going to add the title staff sales commission. And we want this to be 40 points. Okay, so you have to actually type in the 40. Okay, and we want to add a background color to row 1. So what I'll do is I'm just going to add the background color to that one cell because watch what happens when I merge this across cells A, B, and C. So it automatically adjusts the color. Okay, so 40 might have been a little bit too high, but that's okay. Once you have it the way I asked you to do it, you're not going to get it wrong. You're going to highlight cells A8 to B8. And again, because I added an extra row, it really should be A9 to B9. And we're going to add a blue background. And then we're going to add borders to this entire table. So we're going to add borders from A9 to B12, all borders. And then that is it. We are done. Remember to save this as an Excel file. So you go File, Save As, and make sure that your file format says Microsoft Excel Workbook.